Okay, so we're going to start looking at some various functions and other formatting stuff in Excel. So the first thing I want to show is certain functions. Okay, remember last time we talked about the sum function. Okay, there's many other functions that we can use. Okay, again, they always start with an equal sign, and then if you know the name of it, you can always type it in and figure it out if you want. Um, if you don't know what function you want to use, you can come up here to where it says insert function and open that up, and you can say, okay, so for example, I want to do an average, and I can click go here, and there's all these different averages, average ifs, and everyone has a little bit different. You can see that the average that we're going to use here returns the arithmetic mean, right, where you add everything up and divide by the total number. So I can click OK here. And then it basically says, okay, well, what do you want to average, right? So I can then highlight what I want to average, and you see it puts it in right there in this field. Okay, I can always hit help on this function. That opens up a web browser and can give you some information on that. Okay, if you want more details, more detailed look on what everything is. Okay, but this is always a way that you can do it. Okay, you could also just type it in directly, equals average, and then highlight like this. This is the way I usually do it when you know the function, but again, you can always go up to that function button up there to do it that way. So either way works just fine. Okay. Um, so, there are hundreds of these functions in Excel. We'll go through many over this course. Uh, just to kind of give you an example, do a separate one, we can solve this tax. You remember we did the tax by multiplying the two things together. Well, there's a function called product, okay? So I can, instead of doing the asterisk in between, right, that sort of thing, I can come in here and, I could type in multiply and click go, right? And you see here's product, it multiplies all the numbers in the given argument. I can click OK, there's my product. And again, what numbers do I want to multiply? I can come over and, oh, what am I multiplying? Oh, hey, actually, that's not what I wanted to multiply. Well, I can do it this way. I want to multiply this and this guy. Okay, I think that's what I needed to do. And I just did that by clicking and put a comma in between them. Okay, or I can come down, click number 2, and click right here. Now, of course, I should put those dollar signs in there so this guy stays put when I do it. So again, there's that equals product. And you get the same value, just multiply it together. Again, I can autofill that down. Doesn't change the numbers, but it changes how we do it. Again, it puts product in there rather than multiplication. I would probably just use the multiplication, but just to show you another function. And again, Excel can do many functions. The best way to find them is just to go back into here and kind of search and see what you want to do. I guess that was because I was in that function. But again, you can put in and try to find a function that way. It can be very helpful. And again, a lot of what we're going to do in this course is looking at those different functions. Now, going back here, there's a different way I can do it where I don't have to put those dollar signs in, and that's using a named cell. So I can come over here where my tax is. Notice up here it's B8, right? Well, instead of using B8, I could actually type in, for example, I could call it tax and give that cell that name of tax. So then rather than doing product of D2 and B8, I can actually just type in the word tax and use that as my variable. Okay, and it knows, oh, I've got that name cell. That's what it wants to go use. So now when I autofill this down, again, the values don't change, but again, I'm taking the product of whatever that total price is times the cell called tax. Okay, so you can use that. Um, I think I've shown you the insert, but if you want to insert a row, you just highlight the row. You can click on insert, it'll pop a row in front of there. But what I really want to show is if I wanted to create a title across the top here, what I can do is I can take these 6 cells that I have here, right? And I can merge them into a single cell by clicking on this merge and center. So then, title cell or whatever, right? And again, what that does is it merges and centers it. So again, just using the formatting and whatnot. You can always undo it by clicking it and then it sticks it back in this cell. Okay. Or again, highlight them all, hit merge and center like that. So that's helpful. Okay. Uh, Another thing is a comment, right? So if I want to insert a comment, maybe that's, well, let me just show you how to do it. You highlight a cell that you want to place a comment on, and then you can go into insert, and here's comment. And notice what it does. It puts that little purple thing in the corner, and this is Wisconsin tax or whatever you put in there. And I can hit the little green button here, and it'll put that in there, right? And now if you've got this cell and a reader comes over and says, "Hey, what is this?" They can kind of hover over. Oh, this is the Wisconsin tax. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. So that's how you can insert a comment if necessary. It's just a good way to put some information that's not directly on the spreadsheet, but can give you some context as to what you're looking at, kind of in the background, if you will. Okay. Now the last thing we want to look at is what we call conditional formatting. Okay. So what it does is it'll kind of highlight certain things that you're trying to do. Okay, or look at. So I've got these numbers over here, and what I can do is under conditional formatting, I can say let's go highlight cells rule. And what I can do is I can highlight anything over $20, right? So I can go highlight cell rule greater than, and then I choose a number, again, $20, and it'll highlight anything. And you can choose, okay, red or green, or you can go into custom format, right? And you can just fill them bright blue, something like that. Click OK, right? So you can go in and do it that way. You can also come in and you can manage these rules uh, over the entire worksheet. So I could delete it if I want to. If I want to edit it and say, oh, rather than anything above 20, I actually wanted anything above 19. And with that format, I actually want to change the font to won't let me change the font. So, uh, well, let's bold it too, okay, or whatever formatting you want to do. Okay, you can update it like that. Click OK, apply, and now you see everything's blue. That's 19 or bolded. And again, you can play around with lots of different things up here with far those rules, right? If it equals a certain thing, if it's between a certain thing, top 10, that sort of thing. Another nice thing that we can do is kind of these color scales, right? So I could do a color scale like green like this. So the darker green, the higher the number. The white would be the lowest number, and then different shades to kind of give you a visual representation of what you've got there. And again, you can mess around with the different color scales you want, right? You can go from green to yellow, whatever makes the most sense to you. You can put data bars in there if you want. So you could do like that if that makes more sense to you. There's lots of things. I don't like that as well, so I'll undo it. But so and again, it helps you give kind of a visual representation of what you're looking at. So again, that's conditional formatting, and the best way to deal with that is kind of go in and play around with it.